Hey guys, it's Jin here, and today I kind of want to talk about another topic that I did similar to my last video. So as you can see in today's title, we're going to talk about something called transracial. So what influenced me to make this video is the recent video of Oli London coming out as Korean, and I actually never thought that I would ever talk about Oli. So for those who don't know who Oli London is mostly well known for spending lots and lots of money to look like Jimin from BTS. So in this video, I'm going to try to remain respectful towards Oli, because I feel like a lot of time in other videos where people joke around a lot and even sometimes like jokingly insults Oli, the video just becomes more of like an entertainment because you're insulting someone than actually focusing on the real issue here. When Oli was first known, it was like a joke to everyone. No one really took him seriously, and as always seen that Oli London is an attention seeker. He went on Dr. Phil, always blasting on his Instagram how much he loves Jimin and like how much he wants to look like Jimin. So the other day Oli London made a video where he came out as using the pronouns, wanting us to use the pronoun as them and they, and they came out as Korean. And in the video he was talking about how that's how he always felt, and etc, etc. And in this video I'm just going to be talking about what I think of transracial and etc. So basically the definition of transracial is changing from one race or ethnicity to another. So very similar to transgender, where you're transitioning from one sex to the other, but it's just we're talking about race here. So my opinion on this is, I'm gonna put it out there, I do not believe in transracial. I don't believe transracial is a thing, and it's just nonsense to me, because like you can call me like transracial phobic or whatever, if that's even a word, but transracial should not be a thing, you know. So like I'm gonna explain why here. So the best way I can explain why transracial is not okay, and it's definitely completely different from transgender, okay? Like with gender, it's a social construct that society has made and put in place of, and it's kind of like usually in a form of either, you know, a spectrum of masculinity and femininity. And you can be in the spectrum somewhere. You know, you could be born as a biological female, but you feel that you're going to be more closer to the femininity spectrum. And then, or you could be on the other hand where like you fall somewhere more closer to the masculinity and stuff. And those are the type of factors that make you feel a certain way and how you feel. I'm not saying that that is the only factor that makes someone feel like they're the opposite sex or opposite gender from what they were born with, but it is one factor when it comes to the social aspect of it. But it is a factor in terms of the social aspect of it. However, on the other hand, with race or ethnicity, it's something that there is nothing that is put in place in society other than stereotypes that would make you feel like a different race. Because when you go to a country such as America, UK or Australia, where there's like a diversity of races, a lot of the time if you can actually look into it, you will realize that there's certain times where we treat different races differently, whether we like it or not. We could be like, oh yeah, we treat everyone with respect, but there are certain times where certain race will get treated at a certain way compared to other races that would never, usually, most likely, never experience. For example, it'll be like, oh, with black people, where they are mostly experiencing, you know, racisms and discrimination, and where there's like police violence and etc etc. With Asian is like have this minority model where we, as like mostly like Asians that looks like me, I fit into that category that we're supposed to be this, that, and that. We're supposed to be this and that and that. While like, you know, a lot of time Caucasians, they also have their kind of like I guess like subset of stuff that they have to deal with. But in the end, every race are treated differently, and so it's impossible for one race to be treated like a different race, because the way how our society works when it comes to like, you know, racism, discrimination, it goes back all the way to years and years ago, and it still affects us. We're not like, it's ridiculous if anyone ever say like, oh no, we treat every race equally, respectfully. No, we are not into that perfect world yet. So it's impossible for you to ever, I guess, experience the feeling of being treated like another race compared to your own race that you were born with. And a lot of time, each race have their own upbringing, they have their own some sort of like culture going on. I'm not too sure with the other races other than mine. With being Asians, most people know, like, it's part of our stereotypes that most Asians are brought up in a strict household. Even though a lot of other races have like strict parents and stuff, but Asians have a certain like cultures of upbringing that's a bit different to other races. We're very education orientated. We have our own cultures. That's just like something as simple as like, oh, not wearing shoes in the house, having to do this, we're superstitious, etc, etc, etc. There is no way another race can actually experience what we experience as growing up, unless obviously they're adopted. But then even when you're adopted, you can have some of those culture from being in a family that is different from you. But when you go to the outside world, outside your family, outside the home, you are still being treated the same as every race, the same color as you. I just don't believe in transracial because it's not a thing, and it's almost like in a way offensive to people because it's a lot of time when people wants to be a certain ethnicity, another race, it's not that because they technically feel like they are that race. It's because they like the aesthetic of that race or ethnicity. They like the aesthetic culture of that bit. So they don't like, you know, obviously they don't want to have the upbringing of like the bad side of being Asians with like, you know, always very strict, very education orientated. You can't go play, you can't do this, you can't do this, you have to study, you have to get a good grade, you can't, you know, you can't date until like you're like in uni, and they expect you to get married, especially. They don't want that type of aspect of being Asian. They just want the fact that, like, you know, all the good stuff, Korean, the cultures, like nowadays with K-pop being very big, they want to be like, oh yeah, you know, K-pop and stuff, I want to be part of that kind of stuff. Japanese culture, it's like, oh, anime and all those stuff. What I'm just trying to say like in this video is you can't feel like another race if you don't like have any other factors such as like being adopted. The only reason you will ever somehow feel like you're another race and another ethnicity is the combination of factor that you're adopted into a family that is at that certain race, and you do not live in a country that's highly diverse in people. So like, let's say, you know, you got adopted in a Japanese family and you live in Japan your whole entire life, you've never been outside, then that's the only reason why you'd be like very feel like you're Japanese, because that's all you know. But if you were to someone that live in Australia, America, UK, where literally when you step out of your house, the culture you see there is the UK culture, the American culture, where it's highly diverse, and you're going to be treated the way how you are born, the skin color, not because of who raised you, but your skin color. It doesn't work that way. A lot of the time, a lot of people say that like, oh, you know, some individuals can feel or be whatever they want as long as they don't hurt someone. But it's the fact that like there are certain things that is just not okay, I guess, to me. And I feel like a lot of people, when they heard about this thing, they're not really happy about it too, because it's ridiculous. Again, like, I would understand if someone would feel that certain way because of all the factors I listed, because they're adopted in a family that is that race or that ethnicity, and they're raised in that culture, which is like the country of the race they feel like, or the ethnicity they feel like. That there's just no other way for you to feel a certain like a race or ethnicity unless that's all you know. You've never seen the outside world, you've never seen like other races before and stuff, and it's just ridiculous. I don't believe in it, and I don't know if anyone want to call me transracial phobic or whatever, go ahead, but it's really uncomfortable where nowadays people can just say whatever they want to be Like, gender is something that's very understandable because it is, you know, there's been a lot of scientific evidence of it, and there's also like an obvious social construct, you know, system that's put in it to make you feel like this or that or somewhere in the middle. But race is not, okay? You don't go like watch anime and be like, oh my god, I can feel the Japanese coming into me. Like, I always knew, you know, just because you feel like a connection with a culture does not mean you are supposed to be the ethnicity of that culture. It just means you really like that culture. We can enjoy another person's culture without trying to claim that is yours. Okay, we don't need to always have to fit ourselves in to things that we like. If you like K-pop, you can like K-pop, you can like the culture, you can like listen and all those stuff, but you don't need to be like, hey, I want to be part of it, I'm just gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be Korean. It doesn't work that way, and sometimes it's a bit insulting that, like, for you to think that just because you feel like you connected to a certain culture of ethnicity, etc., you can just claim it as yours. It's highly like offensive. Okay, it's offensive to these cultures and ethnicity and stuff. You can't just go claim it that, oh, you're gonna be part of it, because, you know what I mean? I know a lot of time when Oli made this video and came out, I feel like it's just more for another like attention grabbing stuff, but I just kind of want to put it out there that it's just not okay for you to claim to be another race that you're not. No, just no. And yeah, I'm just gonna make this video really short. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time.